Now we've come to praise his name together. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. My friend. Sing Hosanna. Hosanna. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. In the sanctuary of our Lord's protection and the stronghold of our Lord's defense, with his love our spirits are illumined as we glorify his name. Our hearts are blessed. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. My friend. My friend. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. My friend. My friend. Good morning. Good morning. Excuse me. Good morning, everyone. Let me grab the mouse here and make a little adjustment on the Zoom here. There we go. Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Andy. Hello, Hushang. Hi there, Sharonay. And we know that Jeremiah is there in the cloud. And
Hello, nice meeting
good
you.
morning.
Good morning.
So glad you could all join us this morning. And we've got some folks here in our Facebook stream. Guess what one of the names is I see there?
Who's that?
Nini Ha.
Well, good morning, Nini Ha.
Good morning. Pamela has chosen to join us this morning. Good morning, Pamela. I can actually see, I don't know how long I'll be able to see, but yeah, it's good that all of you could join us this morning. After we had a 1 week off, a 1 week hiatus, I hope that everyone had a good week, or a good 2 weeks since we last saw you. How you doing today, Daryl?
Very well.
You doing good?
How are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm doing well. And Julia has joined us in Zoom. Good morning, Julia. How are you? We're glad you could join us. Now, we're going to go ahead and start, as we always do, with a prayer. And this is a prayer for spiritual growth from Abdul Baha. O God, my God, these are thy feeble servants. They are thy loyal bondsmen and thy handmaidens, who have bowed themselves down before thine exalted utterance, and humbled themselves at thy threshold of light, and borne witness to thy oneness, through which the sun hath been made to shine in midday splendor. They have listened to the summons thou didst raise from out thy hidden realm, and with hearts quivering with love and rapture, they have responded to thy call. O Lord, shower upon them all the outpourings of thy mercy. Rain down upon them all the waters of thy grace. Make them to grow as beauteous plants in the garden of heaven, and from the full and brimming clouds of thy bestowals and out of the deep pools of thine abounding grace, make thou this garden to flower, and keep it ever green and lustrous, ever fresh and shimmering and fair. Thou art verily the mighty, the exalted, the powerful, he who alone in the heavens and on the earth abideth unchanged. There is none other God save thee, the Lord of manifest tokens and signs. And again, this is a prayer by Abdul Baha. I like that prayer. I like them all, but some really resonate with whatever you might be going through at particular times. Now, as you know, if you've been joining us, we have been studying the book Toward Oneness, a compilation on racial and cultural issues. And Daryl, I was looking at my book this morning, and it seems, for anyone who has been following this, that we kind of made a little shift. I mean, we were really concentrating on the issue of prejudice and so forth and so on, and then I should say when we're concentrating on the issue of prejudice, the kind of the nuts and bolts of it and where the stuff came from and why it's so important that we deal with it. And then a week before last, when we last met, we shifted to how to address issues of prejudice. Maybe that was more than a couple of weeks ago. We've been on this about 3 weeks now. Okay, yeah. How to address issues of prejudice. And we seem to kind of shift from really, kind of looking at prejudice through a magnifying glass. And now we seem to be talking more about consultation. And about how, as far as if you are a member of the Baha'i faith or a friend of the faith, and you want to know how we should go about dealing with this issue of prejudice, how do we address the problems? This is where we get into, it almost seems like we're not talking as much about prejudice as much as we're talking about, okay, how do we deal with people whose views are different from mine, and how do we actually find truth in this in this bouillabaisse of different perceptions and preconceived notions and so forth and so on. How do we find truth? And so we're steered to listening to our spiritual assemblies, consulting the spiritual assemblies, accepting the decisions they make.
Right.
But again, also, we talk about what our spirit should be like as we are searching for answers. And sometimes having to accept decisions that might not be what we want to hear.
Of course. Well, interestingly enough, we recognize that consultation is only one element in the process of dealing with prejudice and how we address the issues of prejudice. But it's not just consultation, it's focusing on unity.
Yes.
And what that consultation should lead to, and what that consultation should lead to eventually is that we will be unified in our decisions and how we approach the issues of prejudice. So unity is a key element of the consultation process.
I'm while you're talking, I'm looking at certain things here. I'm just going to read this. This is from last week? I think it's actually it was from last week.
Week before last.
Yeah, week before last. Well, our last time meeting, let's say that, our last time meeting, because I keep that. Anyway, yeah. And so it says, there's only one remedy for this, to study the administration, to obey the assemblies, and each believer seek to perfect his own character as a Baha'i. And then further down it says, O contending peoples and kindreds of the earth, set your faces towards unity, just to, back up exactly what you're saying, and let the radiance of its light shine upon you. Gather ye together, and for the sake of God, resolve to root out whatever is the source of contention amongst you. And of course, there's more in regards to that, but I mean to point out or to really back up exactly what you're saying. In all that we're doing, and all that we're supposed to be doing, it is supposed to be helping us work towards and maintain unity. Good morning, Gilbert. We see that you just joined us. Good morning. So again, we are almost finished with chapter 4. We're almost finished with the book. But in chapter 4, we're looking at those last few questions. And I'm probably going to be stopping you a lot today.
That's fine.
Okay, so if you'd please begin.
I've come to expect that. Okay. As we mentioned, one of the things that we're asked to do is to, pay attention to our LSAs and be cognizant of the fact.
Whoa, what's an LSA?
A local spiritual assembly.
Thanks.
and to be aware of the fact that their goal, as in the goal of all of this, is towards unity. So, and what we recognize is that even though that's the goal, no one says that the path is going to be that smooth, because even though we're consulting, there may be times when we disagree with what's being said or how things are approached. So we have to trust that the fact that, you know, even if a bad decision is made, at some point it will be righted. So this goes on to say, how one of the questions in this chapter, how should I respond if I disagree with what is being presented? The members thereof must counsel together in such wise that no occasion for ill feeling or discord may arise. This can be attained when every member expresseth with absolute freedom his own opinion and setteth forth his argument. Should anyone oppose, he must on no account feel hurt, for not until matters are fully discussed can the right way be revealed. The shining speak of truth.
Wait, that's that spark.
Oh, excuse me.
That's an important word.
That is excuse me, an important word. The shining spark of truth cometh forth only after the clash of differing opinions.
I had to tell you, and I'm stopping you right there because I needed to read that. I needed to read that. I'm going to get a little personal here. I go to two extremes. I try and maintain peace because I don't want to deal with conflict.
Right.
But once I'm confronted with conflict, especially with someone that I have become comfortable, disagreeing with, like Nini. Sometimes I still don't want. I either push my opinions too hard, or I don't want to deal with the conflict at all. And yet here, I love the way Abdu'l-Baha says this, the shining spark of truth. Because that's what we're looking for, truth. The shining spark of truth cometh forth only after the clash of differing opinions.
Sure.
So that means we have to feel free to voice our opinions, yes, but we also have to have respect when others voice differing opinions from our own. Yeah. So, and I have to remember both of those.
Likewise, when you meet those whose opinions differ from your own, do not turn away your face from them. All are seeking truth. All are seeking truth. And there are many roads leading thereto. Truth has many aspects, but it remains always and forever one.
Yeah.
Do not allow difference of opinion or diversity of thought to separate you from your fellow men, or to be the cause of dispute, hatred, and strife in your hearts. Rather, search diligently for the truth, and make all men your friends. Every edifice is made of many different stones, yet each depends on the other to such an extent that if one were displaced, the whole building would suffer. And if one is faulty, the structure is imperfect. That's very important. Every edifice is made of many different stones, yet each depends on the other to such an extent that if one were displaced, the whole building would suffer and possibly collapse. If one is faulty, the structure is imperfect. Baha'u'llah has drawn the circle of unity.
Say that 3 times, please.
Baha'u'llah has drawn the circle of unity. Baha'u'llah has drawn the circle of unity. He has made a design for the uniting of all the peoples and for the gathering of them all under the shelter of the tent of universal unity.
Mm-hmm.
This is the work of the divine bounty, and we must all strive with heart and soul until we have the reality of unity in our midst. And as we work so will strength be given unto us. Leave all thought of self and strife, only to be disobedient and submissive to the will of God. In this way only shall we become citizens of the kingdom of God and attain unto life everlasting.
Yeah, I was resisting the impulse to stop you there, man, because I wanted you to finish that. But yeah, notice he says, this is coming from Abdul Baha. He says, okay, we must all strive with heart and soul until we have the reality of unity in our midst. And as we work, so will strength be given unto us. This, as I'm reading this, I feel like, so even working towards unity is like strengthening a muscle. You don't just wish for strength and then you're strong. No, you have to keep working that muscle. And as you work, it becomes stronger. And this apparently is the same principle here. And as we work, so will strength be given unto us. And, again, there's got to be a selflessness to it. Leave all thought of self and strive only to be obedient and submissive to the will of God, which ain't always easy. It ain't always easy. I do want to take a moment and say good morning to Mary Ward. I see her in our Facebook stream there. Good morning, Mary. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of bring attention to that.
Okay. Next question. Is it appropriate to express feelings and emotions during consultation? After all, consultation is not therapy. I'm gonna repeat the question. Is it appropriate to express feelings and emotions during consultation?
Wait a minute. I'm going to reword the question, if you don't mind.
Of course. Go ahead.
Aren't we all supposed to be nice and quiet and very, very, sweet in the way we speak to one another, and always, make sure that we're, really, 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 really just nice and never actually show any feeling whatsoever when we're
only if you're not human.
Yeah, it's hard. It's difficult.
Only if you're not human. Again, the question, is it appropriate, to express feelings and emotions during consultation? After all, consultation is not therapy. The distinction between the purpose of consultation and therapeutic endeavors is made explicit in the following extracts from letters written on or written by or on behalf of the Universal House of Justice. It should be borne in mind that all consultation is aimed at arriving at a solution to a problem and is quite different from the sort of group bearing of the soul that is popular in some circles these days, which borders on the kind of confession that is forbidden in the faith.
Hey, I want you to read that again. That last phrase is so important. I would appreciate if you'd read the whole sentence, but that last phrase is a departure from many customs in past, faith communities. I'll put it that way, or even anyway. I'll just leave it there. Yeah,
exactly. And other religious traditions.
Yeah.
So it should be borne in mind that all consultation is aimed at arriving at a solution to a problem and is quite different from the sort of group bearing of the soul that is popular in some circles these days, and which borders on the kind of confession that is forbidden in the faith.
Yeah. I will say, well, I'm sorry, go ahead. You were going to say something.
No, I was going to go on to the next
okay.
paragraph.
I was just going to say, kind of reminding everyone that, yeah, we're concentrating on consultation, but I'm looking at that. It should be borne in mind that all consultation is aimed at arriving at a solution to a problem. And the problem we're talking about right now is prejudice. So even in dealing with prejudice, we are to consult with one another and consult with people. There's a spirit that we're supposed to have, but yes, we are still supposed to be sharing our views, and searching for truth
Exactly.
by consulting with others. And the idea of, I mean, the word consultation or consult, is very commonly used, but it's important that this isn't just talking about just generally consulting with others. There's a spirit to it. There's an impetus of we are really trying to find truth here.
The honest expression of feelings in general communications requires both wisdom and moderation. In Gleanings, Baha'u'llah counsels the believers thus: they who are the people of God have no ambition except to revive the world, to ennoble its life, and regenerate its peoples. Truthfulness and goodwill have at all times marked their relations with all men. Beware lest ye contend that anyone, nay, strive to make him aware. Beware lest ye contend with anyone, nay, strive to make him aware of the truth with kindly manner and most convincing exhortation.
Yes.
Whatsoever passeth beyond the limits of moderation will cease to exert a beneficial influence. That's very important. Whatsoever passeth beyond the limits of moderation will cease to exert a beneficial influence. That's just saying, there is a limit and you can go over the edge very easily.
Yes.
Mostly because we get our emotions involved.
And it's difficult not to, but we're being told, moderation. Moderation.
Exactly. Yes. And Shoghi Effendi, in a letter dated 5 July 1947, written on his behalf, makes the following statement about the importance of balance in all things. Balance in all things. One might like Baha'u'llah's teachings to a sphere. There are points, poles apart. You're holding up your finger.
No. I'm making a visual aid. Points, poles apart.
One might liken Baha'u'llah's teachings to a sphere. There are points, poles apart, and in between the thoughts and doctrines that unite them.
Yes.
We believe in balance in all things. We believe in moderation in all things. We must not be too emotional, nor cut and dried and lacking in feeling. We must not be so liberal as to cease to preserve the character and unity of our Baha'i system, nor fanatical and dogmatic.
Yeah, so we're told, we're not robots. Of course we're going to have some feelings. Of course we're going to feel strongly about, certain things that we either believe in or think or whatever. But it's pointing out, we believe in moderation in all things. We must not be too emotional, but then there's that other extreme of having no emotion whatsoever.
Right.
Of being, I'll dare say, totally lacking in feeling. It says, we must not be too emotional, nor cut and dried and lacking in feeling. You ever known some of those people that it's, the rule is, and we must absolutely abide by and forget your, whatever emotional, whatever feelings you may have. No, we're supposed to have some, we're not robots and we have to deal with each other as human beings. Yes.
Well, I think what's important here is it talks about the sphere and about the extremes.
Yes.
We are asked to stay away from the extremes. Because extremism in practically all forms is dangerous.
Yes.
And can be harmful to us physically, emotionally, socially, in all ways.
Yeah, and in a roundabout way, it kind of points out that the most important thing here, or something that is very important, is preserving the system itself. It says we must not be so liberal as to cease to preserve the character and unity of our Baha'i system, nor fanatical and dogmatic.
Right.
So,
concerning the open expression of feelings during consultation, clearly the expression of feelings and the emotional tone of the interaction make an important contribution to the consultative process. So it's okay to be emotional, okay? In one of his talks, Abdu'l-Baha describes love and fellowship as the foundation of true consultation. He states,
Stop. I'm stopping you because I want to bring everyone's attention that right now, to the fact that right now you are about to read the true definition of consultation as stated by Abdu'l-Baha, what true consultation consists of. So please.
He states, true consultation is spiritual conference in the attitude and atmosphere of love.
Yes.
True consultation is spiritual conference in the attitude and atmosphere of love. Members must love each other in the spirit of fellowship in order that good results may be forthcoming.
Mm-hmm.
Love and fellowship are the foundation.
Yes. Before reading, I'd never read that sentence before, even though it comes from another publication, but true consultation is spiritual conference. I just love that phrase, spiritual conference. It sets it apart from what I think we often think of, just general consulting with people. This is spiritual conference in the attitude and atmosphere of love. I don't know. I just feel that that's like, as a matter of fact,
Well, that takes it away from being just talking heads.
Exactly. and notice I drew a little exploding head emoji there, because I'm like, wow, that's mind blowing. I guess we should do a song, huh?
I think so.
Oh. What a blessing. What a blessing. What a blessing that will be. What a blessing. What a blessing. What a blessing that will be when all shall come together. What a blessing that will be when all shall come together. Oh, what a blessing that will be. Even as once separate torrents, running brooks and single drums, when collected together in one place, will form a mighty sea. What a blessing that will be.
What a blessing.
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 What a blessing
that will be.
What a blessing that will be.
What a blessing.
What a blessing.
What a blessing.
What a blessing.
What a blessing that will be.
Even as once separate torrents, single drops. When collected together in one place, will form a mighty sea. What a blessing that will be.
What a blessing.
What a blessing.
What a blessing.
What a blessing.
What a blessing that will be.
What a blessing that will be.
What a blessing.
What a blessing.
What a blessing.
What a blessing.
What a blessing
that will be. What a blessing that will be. What a blessing that will be. What a blessing. What a blessing. Yes, it will be a blessing when we all come together.
All right. Can you take over the reading, sir?
I certainly will. Okay. I love this line too. We only have so much time, so I'm going to try not to stop, but there's so much on this page to me. It is important to note that truth emerges after the clash of carefully articulated views, which may well be expressed with enthusiasm and vigor, not from the clash of feelings. I'm going to read that again. It is important to note that truth emerges from the clash of carefully articulated views, which may well be expressed with enthusiasm and vigor, not from the clash of feelings. A clash of feelings is likely to obscure the truth, while a difference of opinion facilitates the discovery of truth.
I think you need to read that.
Oh,
again.
yeah.
Read that again as well.
I just feel like, whoa. A clash of feelings is likely to obscure the
stop.
truth.
What mean the word obscure?
Oh, to block or darken or make it foggy, make it more difficult to see. It's more difficult to see the truth. A clash of feelings is likely to obscure the truth, while a difference of opinion facilitates the discovery of truth. Abdu'l-Baha provides the following advice concerning the manner in which views should be expressed in the course of consultation. It is suggested that this guidance could also pertain to the expression of feelings. So this is coming straight from Abdu'l-Baha. They must then proceed with the utmost devotion. I'm sorry, I kind of messed that up. So they must then proceed with the utmost devotion, courtesy, dignity, care, and moderation to express their views. They must then proceed with the utmost devotion, courtesy, dignity, care, and moderation to express their views. They must, in every matter, search out the truth and not insist upon their own opinion. For stubbornness and persistence in one's views will lead ultimately to discord and wrangling, and the truth will remain hidden. I think I'm going to photocopy that and put that on my wall because I need to remember that. I can be a little stubborn sometimes. Stubbornness and persistence in one's views will lead ultimately to discord and wrangling, and the truth will remain hidden. Daryl, next time we have a disagreement on a song, I want you to go ahead, bookmark this. Sometimes we don't always agree. Bookmark this paragraph.
I bookmarked.
You may want to teach this fundamental verity to your drum machine.
Good point. Good point.
See?
Anyway, here's the final question from this chapter. If I feel like I've exhibited prejudice, because remember, that's still what we're talking about. If I feel like I've exhibited prejudice,
Excuse me.
should I confess this and ask for forgiveness? The answer may surprise you. If I feel like I've exhibited prejudice, should I confess this and ask for forgiveness?
I think this is probably one of the key questions of this entire paragraph. This entire section, this entire chapter.
Yeah. On the subject of confession, the guardian is Shoghi Effendi. On the subject of confession, the guardian secretary wrote on his behalf to an individual believer, "We are forbidden to confess to any person, as do the Catholics to priests, our sins and shortcomings, or to do so in public, as some religious sects do." I'm going to read that again. "We are forbidden to confess to any person, as do the Catholics to priests, our sins and shortcomings, or to do so in public, as some religious sects do. However, if we spontaneously desire to acknowledge we have been wrong in something, or that we have some fault of character, and to ask another person's forgiveness or pardon, we are quite free to do so." We are quite free to do so. The guardian wants to point out, however, that we are not obliged to do so. It rests entirely with the individual. That's kind of deep.
I think you should read that last, however, again.
Yeah, however. So it's a matter of choice. And we're talking about as we become more spiritually mature. I think, and that's me adding that. That is not here, but that's me. However, if we spontaneously desire to acknowledge we have been wrong in something, or that we have some fault of character, and to ask another person's forgiveness or pardon, we are quite free to do so. This is not public confession. This is not going to, a clergy person, a clergyman, a member of the clergy, to ask their forgiveness as if they are able to give it from God.
Right.
Okay. We are quite free to do so. The guardian wants to point out, however, that we are not obliged to do so. It rests entirely with the individual. In other words, we are free to ask for forgiveness or pardon from someone that we feel we've wronged, if we desire to do so. Okay.
So that's the end of chapter 4.
That is the end of chapter 4, and next time, our next meeting, which should be next week, we'll begin chapter 5, the final chapter of this book. And I don't think I said good morning to John. Good morning, John. Good to see you and your lovely wife's picture there. And at this time, and Matthew too. Good morning, Matthew. At this time, as always, we like to have anyone who would like to share a prayer or a reading or a song of your choosing to please do so. And I'd also like to take this moment to say, please, please, please continue to keep Kambiz Rahani in your prayers. Again, he's unable to join us, so please keep praying for him. And so at this time, Andy, it's time for our Andy Murphy moment. Andy, do you have anything that you can share with us today?
Yes, I do. Let me just get this set up. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you just fine.
All right. Okay. O Son of Spirit, with the joyful tidings of light, I hail thee, rejoice. immensity of space and traverse the expanse of heaven. Yet thou wouldst find no rest save in submission to our commands and humbleness before our face.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you so much, Andy. Andy, I have to ask, is that a new song? I don't think I've ever heard you play that.
Well, I learned it about 45 years ago.
Oh, I guess that.
I was part of a Baha'i chorus called Dayspring that existed in the Tampa Bay area, and I joined it, I think, around 1976 or something like that, and that's when I first encountered this presentation of those three hidden words.
Very pretty, very beautiful. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else who would like to share? Anyone who would like to share?
Yes.
Please.
I have wakened in thy shelter, O my God. And it becometh him that seeketh that shelter to abide within the sanctuary of thy protection and the stronghold of thy defense. Illumine my inner being, O my Lord, with the splendors of the dayspring of thy revelation, even as thou didst illumine my outer being with the morning lights of thy favor.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to share? Well then, let me readjust our Facebook camera here. I never can seem to get it quite the way it was when we started, but I think that'll do just fine for now. Well, as always, we'd like to thank all of you for joining us, and of course, we always like to point out that this is it's not just a couple of guys who decided they wanted to do a devotion. This is, hang on, let me change our setting here. There we go. This is a joint community effort, people from different communities coming together, as Baha'is around the world do. I want to point that out too.
Sure.
There are a lot of online and in-person devotions. You may actually have some Baha'is in your own vicinity that are doing this very same thing. I say seek them out, but we love the fact that you join us, whether you see this at the time we're doing it or afterwards. And if you are someone who is interested in learning more about the Baha'i Faith, there are some definitive websites. And
those definitive websites are www.baha'i.us, www.baha'i.org, www.bahaiteachings.org, and if you happen to be in the Tampa Bay area or in the Clearwater area, you can always go to the Clearwater website at www.clearwaterbaha'is.org.
I see my cousin John is on with us this morning too. Good morning, John. And I don't know what Nini did last time, but this was not backwards. I don't know what she did to settings. She knows what to do. This is why we always need her here. She knows how to do those types of things. But yes, absolutely. I mean, those websites, and while we make it a point to point out that there are places you can get information. You know, one thing I think we probably need to do as much as anything else is, you know, emphasize, as I just said, that you may have Baha'is living very close to you in your own vicinity. And I would like to say that I know there are ways of finding out where there are Baha'is. I've never done that myself, but I know that there are others who have. And so perhaps one of these websites, you can probably find that information too.
Absolutely. You can go to one of those websites and find out where the Baha'is in your area are.
Oh, man, because we need to point that out too. Baha'i.org. I would assume that these first two here, www.baha'i.org and www.baha'i.us, I would think, in particular, would probably have information like that.
Baha'i.us would do it. If you go to Baha'i.us, there's even a pop-up where they message you and you can talk with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's that great. So you can talk with someone on Baha'i.us and they will connect you with someone. And if they can't connect you with your community at that conversation, they can at least connect you with someone who will on Baha'i.us.
Yes.
You never told me, man. You've been holding out. Thanks, John.
Appreciate that.
We really do appreciate that, because I did not know that.
Yes.
All those times I've been sitting around lonely, you mean all I had to do was go online and go to Baha'i.us and have someone to talk to about the faith. But yes, we're so glad that you all could join us today. And as always, well, I was getting ready to say what you always say. Well, I'd like to say I hope that you can join us again next week and into the future. Yeah.
So what is it I was going to say, Tony?
I don't know. What was it you were going to say, Daryl?
What I was going to say is that if you are loved, you are truly, truly blessed. But if you want to change your world and change the world around you, the best thing you can do is something that's not going to cost you a dime. And I guarantee you that if you exercise this, that it will make your world brighter and the people who are around you that much more kind and generous. And all you have to do is really, really, really simple. And that's just share your love. And that's the only thing I'm going to ask you to do for your lifetime. How's that? I was going to put a time limit on it, but there's no time limit.
Yeah, there should not be a time limit on love.
Lifetime.
There's a good song. No time limit on love. Okay. O people of justice, be as brilliant as the light, and as splendid as the fire that blazed in the burning bush. The brightness of the fire of your love will no doubt fuse and unify the contending peoples and kindreds of the earth, whilst the fierceness of the flame of enmity and hatred cannot but result in strife and ruin. We beseech God that he may shield his creatures from the evil designs of his enemies. He verily hath power over all things. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Oh, oh. Watch over yourselves, for the evil one is lying in wait, ready to entrap you. Gird yourselves against his wicked devices, and led by the light of the name of the all-seeing God, make your escape from the darkness that surrounded you. Let your vision be world-embracing, rather than confined to your own self. These are the words of Baha'u'llah. Be world-embracing. Let your vision be world-embracing. Let your vision be world-embracing. Oh, oh. Have a good week.